A pleasant good morning to you. It is Monday, March 28th. I'm Shane Seeley, and this is the CBC Morning Report. Now we start with news coming out of the Middle East, but related to us here in Barbados. The establishment of that embassy in Abu Dhabi by Barbados is expected to bring major economic prosperity and new opportunities for Barbadians. That's the word coming this morning from the Prime Minister Mia Amor-Motley as she addressed a ceremony to mark the occasion. Leah Briggs has more.
Prime Minister Mia Amor-Motley remains steadfast in her mission to leverage international opportunities to overcome domestic challenges. She's optimistic the opening of the embassy in Abu Dhabi is a major step in achieving this goal. According to her, Barbados is adopting a new foreign policy which goes beyond North Atlantic relations.
We recognize that the North Atlantic approach that had hitherto informed our foreign policy could not be the basis upon which we could go forward. We also recognize that Barbados' voice in regional and multilateral fora must be heard if we are going to be at the table to create the fiscal and policy space that we absolutely need at this time. We would have needed it in good times, but we even more so need it in challenging times.
The opening was attended by Foreign Affairs Minister Senator Dr. the Most Honorable Jerome Walcott, Barbados' ambassador to the United Arab Emirates, His Excellency Gabriel Abed, and other officials. Prime Minister Motley says the shared values between Barbados and the UAE have played a critical role in government's decision to establish the embassy.
Our responsibility as leaders is to be able to include each and every one. And you have done it not by talking about it, but you have walked the talk. And in this country, with the 200 nationalities represented here, on a day-to-day basis, making life easier for their families back home, you have created opportunities and relief for so many millions of people in this world that it became absolutely clear that this was the correct choice for us.
Dubai has emerged as a global investment hub, and the Prime Minister believes the establishment of the new embassy will bring economic prosperity and new opportunities for Barbadians.
We trust and pray, Ambassador, that you and others here, along with Invest Barbados, will be so successful in working with the people and government and those global investors that find themselves in this wonderful hub, global hub, such that we will be able to bring sufficient business to our nation, such that we can bring the prosperity which is at the foundation of all that we do, because it takes cash to care. And that if we can do that, then we can rapidly move to phase 2 of our global foreign policy.
Leah Briggs, CBC News.
We'll take a break here, but when we come back, those COVID-19 updates and an update as well on what's happening with the war in Ukraine. Time to give you that update of the COVID-19 situation here on the ground. 139 new COVID-19 cases. That's what was identified by the Best dos Santos Public Health Laboratory out of 754 tests conducted on Saturday. The cases comprised 28 youngsters under the age of 18 and 111 people who were 18 years and older. The number of people in isolation was 47. While 922 people were in home isolation. As at March 26, the virus claimed 330 lives. Under the National Vaccination Program for COVID-19, the total number of people fully vaccinated stands at 151,004. That's 55.7% of the total population, or 66.1% of the eligible population. Remember that eligible population represents those individuals who are 12 years and older. Meanwhile, the co-coordinator of the National Vaccination Program, Dr. Elizabeth Ferdinand, is dismissing a voice note in circulation that is suggesting COVID-19 vaccines weaken the immune system. In fact, the medical expert says the shots have the opposite effect.
I understand that there's a voice note going around saying that the vaccine makes your immune system worse. It is quite the opposite. You're giving a tiny bit of the antigen and your body reacts by producing antibodies, or your immune system is perked up to produce antibodies against that particular disease, which in this particular case we're talking about COVID-19. So it is totally false, untrue, that the vaccine diminishes your immune system.
Now, the Ministry of Health and Wellness has been trying to boost those numbers between the ages of 12 and 18 getting the vaccine. Dr. Ferdinand says that's why a school vaccination outreach program is being considered.
We'll soon be working with the Ministry of Education to do a school outreach where we will go to the schools, secondary schools, and with their parents' consent, we will vaccinate the children if so desired. So that will come within the next week or two, and hopefully we'll get a little increase in the number of children, because right now we're still only 50% vaccinated of those children between 12 and 18.
Over in Bermuda now, changes are coming to schools as the government there continues to grapple with the COVID-19 pandemic. New protocols are being introduced by the Education Ministry as the science on COVID-19 continues to develop.
The Education Ministry will relax mask wearing in classrooms for students and staff depending on a school's level of participation in COVID screening programs. Starting Monday, if a school has more than 80% of staff and or more than 80% of students taking part in the saliva screening or at-home lateral flow testing program, the school may qualify to move into phased categories, allowing students to remove their masks while maintaining social distancing. Staff must wear masks at all times when indoors as part of Phase 2A, but are encouraged to do so in Phase 2B.
Once we remove the mask, the data shows that incidences of children contracting or turning out positive for COVID and what we call secondary exposure, meaning someone is positive and they come in contact with you, and that means you're now secondarily being exposed. The incidence of jurisdictions that have optional mask mandates show that it is around a 3.6 times more likely that children will turn out positive than districts that have mandatory mask mandates. And so in order for schools to get to the point where they can fully exercise the mask options, the mask list options, is we have to have a robust screening program in place to catch positive persons before they enter into the school.
Let's switch our focus now to what's happening in Ukraine. The U.S. President Joe Biden's trip to Europe to reinforce their commitment to protect NATO countries amidst the war is now over. Al Jazeera examines how the trip has impacted Ukraine's war effort.
These are the images the White House would have wanted from this trip, projecting unity among allies, solidarity with Ukrainians, and military strength. But what has the trip actually achieved? Let's examine the three objectives that in Brussels President Biden said had now been met.
First was to support Ukraine with military and humanitarian assistance.
That aid has been substantial, but President Zelensky made it clear it was still not enough.
You have at least 20,000 tanks. Ukraine asks for just 1% of all your tanks. Give to us or sell to us, but we do not have a clear answer yet.
Second was to impose the most significant sanctions, economic sanction regime ever, in order to cripple Putin's economy and punish him for his actions.
It breaks my heart.
Again, though, the sanctions don't go as far as the Ukrainians would like. President Zelensky wants Europe to stop all imports of Russian oil and gas.
Third was to fortify the eastern flank of our NATO allies, who were obviously very, very concerned and somewhat worried what would happen.
A former senior NATO official says many extra forces have been deployed very quickly, but that now needs to be turned into a permanent presence.
Of course, the war is ongoing, and you need to have more long-term or certainly medium-term adaptations. And that's what the summit, extraordinary summit, was about. But the results we will know, and they've conclusions, we'll find out during the summit in Madrid.
That NATO summit in Madrid in June, likely the next time that President Biden is in Europe. By then, it should be clear whether the aid the Allies have given, which falls short of what President Zelensky wants, was enough for his country to withstand the Russian onslaught.
And as the war rages on, Ukrainians are defiantly returning to the capital city, Kyiv. A major development is citizens embracing their faith in hopes the conflict will end soon.
This isn't just an act of faith, it's a moment of escape from the war and some semblance of a more normal life. Slowly, in tiny but significant ways, life in Kyiv is returning. In the early days of the war, most people fled the city. Some 50% left, according to authorities. Now some are returning, and the church is once again becoming a community focal point.
Faith is the most important thing right now, more important than anything else. I've been coming here for 20 years and I love God more than anything.
I believe in my faith, and with faith we will win. We all have our front lines. I am a doctor, that's my war. The church is playing its part as well, for us all.
St. Vladimir Church was built in 1882. It's witnessed much upheaval, and now it's a heritage site protected by the city. Ukraine's Orthodox Church was re-established in 1990 when it was part of the Soviet Union, and St. Vladimir Church still, to this day, plays a crucial role in society. It's been open throughout the war, but the last couple of Sundays they have witnessed more of the faithful coming to pray. This could almost be a regular Sunday service, but there's one crucial difference. There are more people in uniform.
There are no accurate figures for how many people have returned back to Kyiv, but if you go to places where people might gather, they are actually gathering, whether it's a church like this or even a restaurant in the middle of downtown. People are coming back, and that's a sign of confidence and defiance.
Inside, it's a moment of reflection and quiet belief. But as they leave, the reality of a capital city at war isn't very far away.
Our time now, 1/4 the hour. Let's go over to Wendy to hear what she has for you to start the week on this Monday edition of Mornin Barbados. Wendy, over to you.
Well, good morning to you, Shane, and a marvelous Monday to our viewers. This morning, we'll be looking at a Bajan afar. We'll tell you all about a Canadian vlogger and what she likes to vlog about. We'll also be finding out why BARP is now fab. Yes, we'll be having BARP and the Barbados Council for the Disabled to tell us all about this fully accessible Barbados initiative that they are now a part of. We will also be speaking to Ambassador Commission. A lot has been going on between Barbados and Guyana. We had a private sector team in last week, so we'll hear what is in store for our local farming community. So details to these stories and more ahead, Shane.
Thank you so much, Wendy. Up next on the morning report, the spotlight again on the renewable energy sector. Here, the association backing government's policies to lead us to that 100% renewable target by 2030. That story and more, of course, we'll focus on the West Indies win as well, coming your way right here on the morning report. The Barbados Association of Professional Engineers is praising government for its developmental policies, including those on renewable energy. However, the President, Lieutenant Colonel Trevor Brown, insists proper implementation is key if the island is to achieve the target 2030 by then, in a few years' time. Let's take a listen to what the Lieutenant Colonel has to say.
What we see in BAP is a headlong rush for people to put solar panels on houses or on the ground. But I have to tell you that it is achieving 100% sustainability is far, far more complex than putting solar panels up. If it were not so, I can assure you that half the world would already be sustainable. It is extremely complex, and it requires, now the good thing about Barbados is that it is doable. We've established that it can be done, but only with detailed, specific architectural and engineering planning to make sure that we get where we want to.
In other news, we hear that a community togetherness project has held St. Philip Farmers and Entrepreneurs Market organizer Andrew Glasgow described Saturday's event at Rice's Playing Field under the patronage of the Member of Parliament and the Minister of Agriculture, Food and Nutritional Security in Darweer. Glasgow said it was a showcase of togetherness and empowerment of the community.
Have in this fourth event out escalated to a sort of mini agrifest. You saw some animals that we have at this one particularly, and we aim really to go higher. That is to have, as far as the embracing of persons from the community, we're utilizing them on the stage. You see a little bit later, there's going to be some guitar and rhythms really coming from members of the community.
And according to Mr. Glasgow, the response from participants and the public was good, but there is much more to come.
The actual plan is if we can target to have these at least once monthly. So I would safely say another 7 or so we should get in before the end of the year.
Now, Cultural Ambassador Stetson Red Plastic Bag Wiltshire has been recognized for his 43 years in the music industry. Organized by the Mason family and the diaspora, the event saw relatives, friends, supporters, and representatives of the Red Foundation and the Kerry Lynn Grisette Foundation delivering glowing tributes to the veteran entertainer. Among them, President of Barbados, the Most Honorable Dame Sandra Mason, who reflected on RPB's various achievements.
All the years that he has been in the limelight, I have never once heard of him being associated with anything controversial or negative, and of that we can all be very justly proud. All of the honors and awards that he has achieved thus far, and I said thus far because I have no doubt there are more in the offing, are proof of that word amazing and are most deserving.
And thanking everyone involved, the entertainer spoke about his formative years, and he revealed support from family and fans has been one of the driving forces throughout his career.
I always felt that when I went on stage to perform a song, that the Calypso tent, the stage of the Calypso tent was my parliament. That was my opportunity to speak for those people who were from the low socioeconomic bracket, who didn't get a chance to speak out. And I've been inspired by all the support that I got from fans as I go around Barbados and across the world in general. You know, I've been driven by the support of people and the happiness that I see in the faces of people when I go around the world to perform.
There is a buzz surrounding the Trinidad fashion industry as an upcoming virtual trade mission is set to be underway. The Minister for Trade in Trinidad says the project is a beneficiary of an expo-driven initiative spearheaded by her ministry.
11 designers will showcase their work on a state-of-the-art 3D platform which will allow interested buyers to peruse, order and purchase their pieces. The virtual trade mission will feature designers such as Mei-Ling, designer J. Angelique, The Cloth, Individual Aesthetics and Nehar Karina. General Manager of Fashion TT Lisa Marie Daniel said the designers are export ready and poised to take on the international market in line with its aesthetic and niche.
Has their own personalized exhibitor booths which are now open. We will be hosting 2 virtual trade missions annually, presenting the work of our sector to local and international audiences for the purpose of building awareness, developing buyer and consumer relationships, and to accordingly continue to bolster revenues in this sector.
Minister of Trade and Industry Paula Gopi-Skoon said the project builds upon the Export Booster Initiative, which was developed by her line ministry to increase the export value of manufactured goods and services. She said the project was done in partnership with Export TT and the Trinidad and Tobago Manufacturers Association.
Of the EBI, support is provided to small and medium-sized local manufacturers to enable them to penetrate new markets via their participation in virtual trade missions. And in this regard, the EBI has been able to successfully extend its support to designers who will be participating in this virtual trade mission.
General Manager of Export TT Danraj Hariprasad said Export TT signed a memorandum of understanding with Fashion TT, committing to providing expert guidance and support on this project.
After discussing electoral reform with a visiting U.S. delegation, Guyana's Vice President Bart Jagdeo says the government is ready to proceed with national consultations on the matter. Issues stemming from the 2020 election are also expected to be addressed.
Vice President Bart Jagdeo this afternoon said that the People's Progressive Party government will not remove the residency requirement from the election laws, noting that the High Court has already pronounced on the matter. As the opposition continues to hammer on the issue of a new and clean voters list and for some changes to be made to the Representation of the People's Act, the Vice President has declared that the government is not buying some of the points of the opposition.
So I don't trust them. We're not tying no bundle with them. The people of this country have to decide through the public consultations.
Mr. Jagdeo said when the consultations are held on the issue of electoral reform, the government will take into account what occurred during the last elections and what it can do to avoid that from reoccurring. He said while there have been concerns raised about the makeup of the Elections Commission, the same formula has been working.
So any amendment to that formula will have to be replaced with some solid safeguards that ensure that elections can be rigged by capricious action or illegal action on the part of the technical people. So we still have an open mind, but that is not going to happen by us sitting down with APNU and deciding on this.
On the matter of dialogue and inclusivity and power sharing, the Vice President said his government will not be duped.
We're not born yesterday and we're not going to be duped. We genuinely want to work with the opposition, but it got to be on the basis of some principles and long-term commitment.
Sporting news now, and some wonderful news for the West Indies as they completed a comprehensive 10-wicket victory over England inside 4 days in the third and final test match in Grenada to claim the Apex Series 1-0. England resumed yesterday on 103 for 8 after a destruction job by Kyle Mears, leading by just 10 before Kemar Roach snapped up the remaining 2 wickets to leave England on a 120. The Windies wasted little time in reaching the target on 28 without loss. Let's take a look at this amazing win.
Oh my word, what a catch that is. Instinctive grab of a ball that was going very, very quickly to his right. Oh, well bowled. Well bowled. Imploring appeals from all round, completely immovable.
Yep, there's a spike as the ball is resting next to the bat. I'm ready to go back on field to Joel. Joel, I'm going to ask you to overturn your decision. You can give the batsman out on screen now.
Well, Ultra Edge was the final arbiter.
Raced away. Lovely. In the tradition of some great Barbadian and West Indian opening batsmen. What a shot. Seen it often from Craig Brathwaite. A win that has come swiftly and appropriately off the bat of the West Indies captain and leader. Congratulations to the West Indies team led by Craig Brathwaite. The newly minted, newly named Richards Botham Trophy.
Well, Joshua De Silva, he won Player of the Match for his maiden Test century, a hard-earned one. And the skipper, Craig Brathwaite, was awarded Man of the Series for scoring well over 350 runs. Congrats to the West Indies once again. Time now to take a look at the weather. The temperature right now is 24.8 degrees Celsius. It's feeling a bit warmer than that. The sun is out a bit earlier now as we move into those summer months. It's fair and slightly hazy on the outside as well. The relative humidity stands at 76%. The barometric pressure this morning is up to 14.4 millibars, and those winds are coming out of the east at 28 kilometers per hour. We'll see a low tide this morning first at around 6 minutes after 7. Then there will be a high tide later on in the afternoon, well, early in the afternoon at 3 minutes to 1. And there will be another low tide at 9 minutes to 8 tonight. Low seas are moderate in open water. Swells are peaking at around the 2-meter mark right now, but I expect them to increase. Forecast for today is mostly sunny. And tonight it will be mostly clear. And here's a quick look at the international weather forecast. And that's it for this edition of the CBC Morning Report. I'm Shane Seeley. I'll see you at 7 with your headline news. Up next is Wendy Burke with Morning Barbados.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning.
Hello and good morning. Wishing a marvelous Monday to all of you out there. Now, this morning on Morning Barbados, we're going to be talking to a Bajan afar. Yes, you know, there are lots of Barbadians out there doing great things all over the world. And we'll be talking to Aliyah Corbin-Cragwell. She is a Canadian Bajan-based content creator. And she will be telling us all about her passion for beauty, skincare, vlogging, the whole lot of it we'll be discussing with her. She explores food, she likes dance as well, and she is also into the area of public relations as well. Good morning to you, Aliyah.
Good morning. Hi, how are you?
Now you have a bright, sunshiny smile, so you're happy to be up this Monday morning.
A little bit, but I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you. Now, given that glow on your face, I understand why you like vlogging about beauty and skincare products. Tell me how you got into it.
Yeah, so, you know, I share a lot online about beauty, health, career, wellness, many things, but, you know, my content really revolves around authenticity and daily vlogs, which I have been doing, you know, a lot as well during the pandemic. So I actually started creating content a few months before the pandemic, and it's been an amazing journey so far. I've been able to network really well in this industry, work with many beauty brands in America and as well as Canada. So something that I'm really passionate about and just evolved ever since. So.
And one of the brands you're hoping you can work with one day is Fenty Beauty.
Yes, I would love to work with Fenty. It's one of my goals of mine, and I'm making the goal. So the next time we speak, hopefully I will achieve that goal.
Let's hope you do. Let's hope she sees you when you do. Now, your other relatives were all born here, and you're the only one who was actually born in Canada. But you still visit and so on. How does that make you feel? You know, the fact that when they tell their stories, they're truly indigenous stories because they were immersed in it. You just get to see it every now and again.
Yeah, so my dad's family is actually from Stadium Road, Bush Hall, St. Michael. And my mother's side is from New Orleans, St. Michael. So I like to say that I've had the best of both worlds. I'm able to visit Barbados and see both sides of my family. And growing up, I spent my summers in Barbados, and it has been so amazing. But I identify as Bajan first. I've always been a Bajan Canadian. So to me, you know, I really just want to be able to be that. And, you know, my brother and my family, I love the tradition, and you know, my brother's an amazing cook, and I really wanted to also incorporate food on my vlogging as well. So sometimes my mother makes an appearance, and you know, she teaches me how to make fish cakes and sauce and coconut bread. So yeah, I've just really been able to be submerged into this culture, but I am a Bajan first.
Happy to hear that, and it's great to be Bajan. Now, you like to eat akis. What is it about them that thrills you? You said that if there's a food you could have for the rest of your life, that is what it would be. Why?
You know what? I think it's because we don't have that in Canada. Like, I can get mangoes down the street, even though they're probably not the best. You know, my family can make a good macaroni pie. You know, flying fish is something that I also don't have. But I think I just love fruits, and I love Bajan fruits. I love sugarcane. I can eat sugarcane every single day. I can eat akis every single day. So I think that really is it. I think it's the fact that I don't really have the access to get it every day, like other things.
Okay. So when you come home, what are some of the things you love to do?
Oh,
yes.
You like to visit? So the beach. The beach, it's the beach for me. I love going to Browns Beach, Brandon's Beach. I love seeing family. And most times I'm going during crop over, so I'm participating as much as I can, going to 4-day morning, seeing and watching steel pan on the beach. Like, that's just something that I love to do, but really just relaxing, because I feel like Barbados is that place for that, being able to just relax and enjoy my time.
You said you come to Kadooment and you watch. Don't you jump?
I do. But you know, there's been times where I've watched and I'm just in awe of how beautiful the costumes are. And I'm hopefully this year that I could come down as well. So.
Yeah, we're doing it a little differently, but it will be Kadooment nonetheless. So the music will be there, the revelry will be there, the costuming will be there. So feel free to get on that flight and bring a couple friends with you.
Yes, I will. We will all be there.
Now, in terms of your vlogging and how you've moved, because you started your career in health sciences, then you pivoted into something else, but now you seem to have found a way to blend the two in your vlogging.
Yeah. So, you know, I think a lot of people experience burnout, and, you know, sometimes not everyone has the privilege and the opportunity to be able to pivot in their career. So for me, I worked at a hospital and I worked a little bit in public relations as well. And so I have a passion for that as well, helping people, being able to work on communications. But my side hobby became something that I also became really passionate about. And, you know, it was something that was really surprising to me. But, you know, in terms of burnout, you realize that, you know, during the pandemic, it was great for me. I was able to create content. People were able to watch because they were spending a lot of time at home. But I also realized that sometimes it's hard to juggle everything. So I like to be able to slow things down sometimes and incorporate my life through communications, public relations, health sciences, and do it as well in my vlogging. So that way I'm having the best of both worlds and I'm staying true to myself. So.
But you also encourage others to stay true to themselves. What are some of the principles that you think are necessary, not only in terms of self-care, but in terms of self-actualization?
Yes, I love that question because I think everyone practices self-care a little bit differently. And I think it's important to also know that, you know, some things people want more in their life, and that's okay. And I think listening to your body is really important. So I like to lead with authenticity first. It's something that's important to me. And I like to tell people who want to sort of be into this content creative field is to keep posting. You know, you'll find the right people for you. And I always like to say that while there's many people online creating content, there is only one of you. So there's room for everybody.
Okay, that's interesting because there are so many people that deal with the issues. To have that slant on it is quite different. So outside of content creation, what else are you doing?
Oh, wow. I mean, being in a pandemic, you know, spending a lot of time at home. But, you know, aside from the pandemic, I love to travel. Traveling has been so important to me. And I love to eat. I love to eat. I love to dance. Yes, I'm a big foodie. I love to dance as well. I took that up on as a hobby. So sometimes I love to take these classes and, you know, pretend that I'm a dancer, but, you know, I have fun with it. I think that's really just important to me, is to just find new things to exercise, you know, having goals for myself and trying new things.
Okay, so when you are traveling the world, what are some of the things or what excites you most about a destination that says, yes, this is where I'm going next?
Yeah, so I'm actually going to Portugal this summer with my friends. I plan a lot of girls' trips, so we're going to Portugal. It's for Afro Nation. So for me, I love to be able to be submerged in the culture. I do a lot of research first. I love authentic food. I love authentic tourism. So even Barbados, when I went with my friends, you know, we visited Harrison Cave. You know, I showed them to like melt gay rum, you know. And so I think it's important that when I'm visiting these countries or these cities, that I'm also taking a part of their culture away as well. So those are some things I love to do. And, you know, lounge at the beach. We love a good beach. So that's what I love to do.
Okay. Outside of that, what more is there to Aliyah? What does the future look like for you? What are you helping to construct for self?
Yeah, so I think professionally, I am finishing up my postgraduate. So in the next
In
few
what
months, I
area?
will Yeah, in public relations. So I'll be finishing my postgraduate in public relations, and I'm actually hoping to continue in the health, wellness, beauty, and a little bit of tech. I'm actually learning a little bit about tech as well. So I'll be incorporating that in my videos as well. And then creatively, I'm continuing to post online, working with a lot of beauty brands, setting goals for myself. And I've also had a little bit of an idea of starting a cookbook, specifically a Bajan cookbook, because being in Canada, I find that there's not many Bajan cuisines, and as mentioned before, my brother's an amazing cook, and I am always writing down some of his recipes. So I think in the next few years I might start a little Bajan cookbook.
Okay, and I suppose since you're into the vlogging, you'll ensure that it is a multimedia cookbook, not just in print but also available online.
Yes, exactly. So trying to post more content, especially for food, online as well. So everyone can stay tuned for that.
Because you said mom taught you how to do pudding and salsa and fish cakes. But I saw a
Yeah.
version, yes, you do get lots of cod in Canada, so that's a good start there. But then there's the Bajan seasoning.
Yeah.
You
there's a lot.
Our food has a different taste, and it just melts. You want to have more all the time. So I'm here telling you about the food, so you're encouraged once you leave Portugal. You know where to come. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Coming right back home.
Back home. So before we go, what has been your favorite Barbadian memory? Something that happened whilst you came down on one of those summer trips that will never leave you.
Wow. Oh my God, it's a good question. I think for me is just spending time with family. I think a lot of people forget how important family is. And for me, again, I don't have much family in Canada, so I think my greatest memory is being able to visit Barbados and have those special moments and being able to talk with my family because we're so far away. So as simple as that, that answer is, I would say being able to feel that community and feel home again.
That's awesome. Well, Aaliyah Corbin Cragwell, I wish you well as you continue to enlighten other women and men about skincare, health, wellness, the whole lot of it. I wish you the best with that, the completion of your studies. Theses are not easy to complete. You look for the words and then you can't find them, but you have a deadline. I want to thank you again for joining us and have a brilliant morning.
Thank you. You as well. Thank you so much for having me.
And we'll leave you now with a TikTok video from Aaliyah.
No, I'm not Ethiopian. I'm Bajan. You're Haitian? No, not Haitian. I'm Bajan. Like black and Asian? No, that's Blasian. I'm Bajan. Okay, you can also say we're Barbadian. I'm Barbadian. You're a barbarian?
morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
And welcome back. We're going to be talking now to the folks from the Barbados Council for the Disabled, as well as those from the Barbados Association of Retired Persons, BARP. Now, good morning to Marilyn Rice Bowen of BARP, who needs no introduction, our president. Morning to you. And also to Christopher Jilks, who's the PRO of the Barbados Council for the Disabled, and Rosanna Tudor, the operations manager at the council. Good morning to you all.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Now, I'm going to begin with the council and what really is a fully accessible Barbados, or FAB, as BART has turned. And Rosanna, this initiative reaches out to the private sector to basically come on board with you to ensure that persons with disabilities can readily access the buildings, the structure, the services of this business. Tell me a bit more about the initiative and how you're pushing it.
Okay, thank you so much for having us. And I first want to actually compliment BARP, because what is encouraging for us is that when service providers come to us and ask for us to make recommendations, assess the level of access that they offer, and we don't have to go to them. I think that is really an encouragement to us. Shows that we are making progress. So I got to compliment BARP for that offer. And it was a pleasure to assess their building, as well as to offer them the accreditation and the various standards. Fully Accessible Barbados, it really started because we recognized that there was no standards offered to buildings, for access. And our people, even here in Barbados, were not being offered that as well, to enjoy the facilities, the services that everybody else enjoyed. So we developed the Fully Accessible Barbados program using international standards, and we accredit facilities that provide service. And what is obvious, though, is that many people do have some level of access in their buildings and their services, and they don't even realize it. And when they ask us to do an assessment, we highlight these offers that they have already for the public. They're surprised, So this is something we want to encourage more and more businesses to approach Barbados Council for Disabled. We would regularly come and assess your building and offer you advice as to how you can make your facility more accessible, if it does offer access. I mean, it's just not about, respect and regard for persons with disabilities. It's service excellence. This is something years ago picked up from NICE when they first started a program. And it is about service excellence. Accessibility is not just about wheelchairs. It's about how you enter and use a facility, everybody. So independent users is also important. Being independent is also important for persons who, like Chris, I have to share this with Chris because Chris is a wheelchair user. And I want to ask Chris to just explain briefly what access means to him.
Okay.
Thank you. Well, for me as a wheelchair user, and a person with a disability, it brings about independence. It allows me to feel independent and being able to do everything or anything the able-bodied person can. So having this access is very important because not only It shows that we are capable, but it also brings awareness to society that we are all one people.
And that is what we truly are. Because, disability is not inability. And also, too, some people seem to think that disabilities only come upon birth. But sometimes all it takes is a slight mishap, and it can happen to you too. Marilyn? And I think your organization recognizes that as we age, our bodies change. And whereas you may have been able to sprint and go up steps before, you're no longer able to do that, You need the help of a walking aid or so on.
Yes, thank you, and good morning, Barbados. And of course, hello to our partners at BCB. Yes, Wendy, we place a high value on our members, and we did all we can to ensure that our building was could classify as a fully accessible Barbados facility, because as you quite rightly said, there are persons that depend on walking. In addition to wheelchair-bound individuals, there are persons who depend on walking aids. So we have to be able to accommodate them as they seek to conduct business with us at bar. And I think it was Rosanna who made mention of person's change of ability. Sometimes an accident or illness can alter one's mobility. So wherever you are in life, wherever you stand, at bar, you can access all of our services. And not only are we wheelchair accessible, but when you are inside of the building, we have different level counters to service persons who are wheelchair bound or people who are standing. So we carry the extra mile. And I am happy that we were able to be classified as a fully accessible Barbados facility. And I'm also happy that we were able to partner with the BCD. And Wendy, I would also like to use this space to encourage businesses in Barbados to seek to be classified as fully accessible Barbados facilities, because indeed you will be assisting your customers who I'm certain that you would want to come to
I'm
your
glad you mentioned
business.
the encouragement, Marlon, and I'm going to turn to Chris here in terms of being the PRO and helping to raise that level of awareness. How has your campaigning been going in trying to get more businesses on board? There are 30 now who have the certification. How are you looking to push more, Chris?
Well, we can use BART as an example because they are now fully accessible 100%. And, I would say again, it is very important that persons see disability and not see it as something that keeps a person back. What I would like persons to do, see us for our ability for more, because sometimes they would see a person's device first than the person themselves. So I want to keep pushing to the public, and because in life you can become more disabled than able.
It is so very true. And Rosanna, over at the council, there's been a lot that you've been doing in terms of the whole education process and letting people understand that putting in a ramp is not just that simple. The ramp has to be at a certain gradient. You have to make sure the surface is not tiled with a certain type of tile, because then the traction for when it's wet. How much further are you looking to push things now, especially since we've been locked up with the pandemic and so on? Is the council looking to take things more online in terms of its education thrust?
You've recognized quite a lot there, Wendy. We started this program in 2005, and it kicked off a couple of years afterwards with the first set of awards. what was recognizable was the visitors to Barbados. Because for years we spent so many promos, advertising access for our people. We wonder why we are not out. Why we're not out? We're not out because you're not making your facility accessible. You were the ones that putting up these barriers many times without even knowing it. And that is what creates the barriers. The barriers create a lack of access. Access is just not about the physical space that you have. It's about your attitudes. Sensitivity training is one of the high points of our fully access Barbados and Mornin. We're going to be coming to you to that too as well, so that you can have your employees be sensitized to how to respond to the needs of various disabilities. So sensitization training is something that we offer the council, and that has been very successful with the Barbados Host Tourism Program, because we've been working with them for years in providing that to the frontline workers that provide the service to the tourists. We recognized years ago as well, in getting access, we had to go towards where all the focus of attention was, and the attention obviously in Barbados is tourism. So we were getting a lot of inquiries all the time from tourists, where can they go to access, what beaches is accessible, hotels, restaurants, places of interest. And we recognize, something, this is what we're going to focus on. Sorry, excuse me, tourism.
Yeah.
And in doing so, it has created that level of awareness that we wanted.
I think what we also need is the level of inclusivity, because the disabled are part and parcel of our community. They should not be seen as an appendage or anything of this sort. They are a part of us, and we are a part of them. Well, unfortunately, we have run out of time. I enjoy talking about fully accessible Barbados, because I also want to plug here that it's not just about wheelchair or walking access, but it's also for people who have sight impairment as well as being deaf. Those are also components of fully accessible, and Marilyn now has them at BARP. So it means that if you are disabled, when you reach that age and stage, you know that BART is there to assist you fully. I want to thank you all for joining us this morning. Marlon Rice-Bowen, Rosanna Tudor, and Christopher Jones. Let's keep pushing this cause for a fully accessible Barbados and get more businesses online. Thank you all, and have a great morning.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
We'll go now to the news with Shane Seeley.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning.
Welcome back. It's time now to hear what's the latest in news.
Here's your headline news for this Monday, March 28th. Major economic prosperity and new opportunities, including jobs for average Barbadians. That's the projection for Barbados with the establishment of an embassy in Abu Dhabi, according to the Prime Minister, Mia Motley, or Leah Briggs has more.
Prime Minister Mia Motley remains steadfast in her mission to leverage international opportunities to overcome domestic challenges. She's optimistic the opening of the embassy in Abu Dhabi is a major step in achieving this goal. According to her, Barbados is adopting a new foreign policy which goes beyond North Atlantic relations.
We recognize that the North Atlantic approach that had hitherto informed our foreign policy could not be the basis upon which we could go forward. We also recognize that Barbados' voice in regional and multilateral fora must be heard if we are going to be at the table to create the fiscal and policy space that we absolutely need at this time. We would have needed it in good times, but we even more so need it in challenging times.
The opening was attended by Foreign Affairs Minister Senator Dr. the Most Honorable Jerome Walcott, Barbados' ambassador to the United Arab Emirates, His Excellency Gabriel Abed, and other officials. Prime Minister Motley says the shared values between Barbados and the UAE have played a critical role in government's decision to establish the embassy.
Our responsibility as leaders is to be able to include each and every one. And you have done it not by talking about it, but you have walked the talk. And in this country, with the 200 nationalities represented here, on a day-to-day basis, making life easier for their families back home, you have created opportunities and relief for so many millions of people in this world.
Or Leah Briggs reporting there in that extract from Prime Minister Mia Motley, who is currently in Dubai. Co-coordinator of the National Vaccination Program for COVID-19, Dr. Elizabeth Ferdinand, this morning strongly dismissing a voice note in circulation that suggests that COVID-19 vaccines weaken the immune system. In fact, the medical expert says the shots have the opposite effect.
I understand that there's a voice note going around saying that the vaccine makes your immune system worse. It is quite the opposite. You're giving a tiny bit of the antigen and your body reacts by producing antibodies, or your immune system is perked up to produce antibodies against that particular disease, which in this particular case we're talking about COVID-19. So it is totally false, untrue, that the vaccine diminishes your immune system.
And Dr. Ferdinand also revealed that a school outreach program is being considered to boost the number of children under the age of 12 and between the age of 12 and 18 too, who are to receive a COVID-19 vaccine. 139 new COVID-19 cases were identified by the Best dos Santos Public Health Laboratory out of 754 tests carried out on Saturday. The cases comprised 28 youngsters under 18 and 111 people who were 18 years and older. The number of people in isolation facilities was 47, while 922 people were in home isolation. As at March the 26th, there were 330 deaths from the virus. And there's major praise for government's developmental policies announced in the recently concluded budget, including those on renewable energy. The president of the Barbados Association of Professional Engineers has been reacting to the proposals. Lieutenant Colonel Trevor Brown insists proper implementation is key if the island is to achieve its 2030 100% renewables target.
What we see in BAP is a headlong rush for people to put solar panels on houses or on the ground. But I have to tell you that it is achieving 100% sustainability is far, far more complex than putting solar panels up. If it were not so, I can assure you that half the world would already be sustainable. It is extremely complex, and it requires, now the good thing about Barbados is that it is doable. We've established that it can be done, but only with detailed, specific architectural and engineering planning to make sure that we get where we want to.
And that's your headline news for this Monday. I'm Shane Seeley. It's back to you, Wendy.
Why, thank you, Shane. Morning Barbados will take a break, and when we come back, we encourage you to get near your phone lines, 228-5562, 228-5563. It's time to win with a cure.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
And good morning and welcome back to those of you who were here before, and welcome to those now joining. Now it's time to play for the cure. 228-5562, 228-5563. Cure Oxygen Water Giveaway.
It's now time to win with Cure Oxygen.
It's time for you to win a polo shirt, a 12-pack of Cure water, and a face mask. What do you know about Cure? Well, Cure Oxygen Water goes beyond hydration and challenges everything you thought you knew about water. Why? It helps you to discover great health while also giving you limitless potential. Available in supermarkets island-wide and www.shopsmjbarbados.com. Time now for a question today. What is the recommended dose of Cure Oxygen? What is the recommended dose of Cure Oxygen? 228-5562, 228-5563. If you have the answer to our question for the water which takes you beyond hydration. What is Cure Oxygen Water good for, and what's its recommended dose? 228-556. Good morning.
Morning.
Yes. Go ahead with your answer.
I think you can drink as much as you want.
That you can drink as much as you want?
Yes.
No. There's a dosage that you can use if you want to get your optimum out of Cure Oxygen Water. Well, we'll let someone else try. 228-5562, 228-5563. Cure with all of its nano bubbles that go through your bloodstream at a really quick rate. Tell me, what is the recommended dose of Cure Oxygen? The answer, no, we need to get a correct answer this morning. You know, Cure Oxygen Water, if you've been listening all the while, you should be picking up exactly what this water does, because, I mean, with limitless potential, there's so much that it does for your system. So what is the recommended dose of Cure Oxygen? Good morning.
Good morning. Cure is an excellent form of hydration, and the recommended dose is about 3 bottles per day.
3 bottles per day for how long?
For how long? I think how
guess
long
the
the body
number of
requires
weeks.
it.
Are you with us?
Pardon? Repeat the question.
Can you
please.
guess the number of weeks?
The number of weeks? Say about for 8 weeks or so.
No, that's way too long. You could have had it. All right, we'll just see if our next caller gets the answer. I mean, because part has already come, so you just need to know the rest of it. Pure oxygen water, it improves stamina, builds resistance, it does a body good. The recommended dose of Pure Oxygen. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. It is recommended that you drink two bottles per day, every day. The more you drink, the better you will feel and better result.
But there's an amount of weeks there, sir.
Pardon?
There's an amount of weeks in that recommendation.
There's
How
a
much is
a
it?
week.
Weeks,
Yeah, because
weeks that you should, yes, every day, but for how long? It's like a prescription, you know? You don't take it forever. How long?
For a week.
No, you're short. I'm sorry. Let's see if you get this. We've had part of the answer. Yeah, he was close, but let's get an answer here. 228-5562, 228-5563. Pure oxygen water with all of its nano bubbles. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, let's hope you have the answer. What is the answer to this morning's question?
It's recommended 3 bottles a day for 7 weeks.
7
Hello?
weeks. Try 7 is way too high. Try a little smaller. Let's give you another chance.
About 4 weeks.
No, it's
3.
One last try for you.
2 weeks.
Hello?
2?
Okay.
2
We
weeks?
will give it to you because you came the closest of all. The answer really is 2 to 3 bottles every day for at least 2 to 3 weeks. That's our answer this morning. Just stay on the line and give our producer your information because you get to win an awesome 12-pack of Cure, the polo shirt, and the face mask. So just stay on the line and give your information in the Cure Oxygen Water giveaway, the water that goes beyond hydration.
Pure Oxygen. It's not hype, it's science.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Exciting, and it helps to augment what we already started with the Lears Land Lease project.
Barbados' ambassador to CARICOM, David Commercial, said it's a project that goes beyond the two countries. He also said a CARICOM task force has been set up and the Caribbean private sector is on board.
We are working in CARICOM on a regional project to reduce our regional food import bill by 25% by the year 2025. What Barbados and Guyana are doing kind of puts us in the vanguard of that regional program, but it is expected that there will be a number of regional initiatives. Barbados is also working closely with Suriname as well. So much of what we do with Guyana will be replicated with Suriname.
A Suriname delegation is due.
That was a video with His Excellency David Commercial, Barbados' ambassador to CARICOM, as they went about a trip with the visiting Guyana private sector as well as the local private sector about some major initiatives that are going to be taking place. Good morning to you, Ambassador Commercial.
Good morning, Wendy. It's a pleasure to be here.
Always good to have you. Now let's continue that conversation with the visit and how it culminated. What are we going to be looking forward to in the not so distant future?
Well, the last 2 weeks have been all about Guyana. First, we had the ministerial delegation, and then we hosted a delegation of the Guyana private sector. And the two really go together because the initiatives taken by the government are really designed to provide opportunities and economic space and facilitation for the private sector. So, for example, you saw us there at Lears, where the two governments have agreed that 7 acres at Lears will be used to establish a food terminal between Barbados and Guyana. So there will be storage space, there will be freezer facilities, but it's all to facilitate the movement of food, to make Guyanese food available for wholesale and retail, and for that Lears food terminal to also be a hub for the export of food to other parts of the Caribbean. So it's going to be very important that the private sector make full use of it. Similarly, the gold market that's going to be set up in Bridgetown, it will provide opportunity for Barbadian and Guyanese business persons. And so this is really what the CARICOM single market and single economy is all about. We are expanding space, economic space and economic and business opportunities for Barbadians. And what I would like to do from this platform this morning, Wendy, is to signal to my Barbadian people that as we expand this space and opportunities, we have to get on board and grasp these opportunities. And I'm going to be coming to the nation with a very serious promotional campaign or program around the CARICOM Skills National Program. I'm going to be encouraging all Barbadians who qualify under the 12 categories of skills to go to the Barbados Accreditation Council to get your CARICOM Skills Certificate so that you're ready to move, at the drop of a hat, to embrace opportunities in various parts of CARICOM.
That's awesome to know. And it's not just Guyana we're talking about here, but we're looking to fully integrate across the region, Ambassador. Now, the visit with the private sector, yes, we dealt a lot with food. We know the gold is coming, but there were also some other key areas that you're looking to strengthen the relationship in.
Yeah, it's going to be a whole range of areas, including tourism, including participation in each country's oil and gas sector. And again, this is why I'm saying Barbadians need to get their CARICOM skills certification in place. there will be opportunities for Barbadian artisans, for architects, for engineers, for people offering all kinds of services. And the Barbadians will get a chance to see and experience some of the opportunities in Guyana at this year's AgroFest because a large number of Guyanese exhibitors will be coming to our AgroFest. Our AgroFest is going to be in May, the 27th to the 29th of May. It's going to be at Queen's Park as usual. But Guyanese exhibitors are coming in, not just in agriculture, but in agro-processing, furniture, wooden products, culinary product services, the manufacturing, a whole range of disciplines and economic spheres will be on display at AgroFest. Guyana will be setting up an office of its investment, its governmental investment entity, Go Invest, office space in Barbados, office in Barbados, so they will be on the ground. They will have an office at the Pelican Craft Village where they can better introduce Barbadians to the investment opportunities in Guyana. The Barbados Chamber of Commerce and the Guyana Chamber of Commerce, they have already committed to exchange personnel. So you will have personnel from Guyana at the Barbados Chamber of Commerce office here and vice versa. And similarly, the ministries of agriculture, they have already committed to exchanging personnel. So again, I want to stress, this is really giving concrete life to the Caribbean integration movement. And if you think about it, at the core of the Caribbean integration movement is that it is expanding the territory that is available to us. So Barbados is a small island, 166 square miles, limited natural resources, but by integrating in this way with Guyana, with Suriname, we've now expanded what is available to us, and you can see it easily in the black belly sheep program, because what the two governments have organizing, making it possible for farmers, sheep farmers, to be able to partner with each other, farmers from Barbados, farmers from Guyana, and the Guyana government is making space, making land available, so Barbadian sheep farmers can move beyond the limits of the small 166 square miles that is available to us. They can partner with Guyanese counterparts, and they can have the land space in Guyana at cheap concessional rates to develop the 1 million black belly sheep population that Prime Minister Motley has spoken about. So yes, it's
and
all
it will
about
still
just
be a Bajan black belly lamb, even though it's reared in Guyana. That's important to know.
In fact, I think we want to brand it Barbados black belly sheep, you know, and we're gonna take it to the world. So Barbadians need not to be fearful. What we are trying to do is to expand production, to make production in Barbados more efficient, to make the factors of production more cost effective, so that we can penetrate extra regional markets, and where we are bringing in goods from outside CARICOM, we can substitute CARICOM producers and thereby boost production capacity within our region. Who knows?
And also help each other with our food import bills. Because if we're taking from each other and making sure that our boundaries are now seamless and we act as one and live as one, then we all stand to have, you know, healthier looking GDP figures at the end of the day.
And security.
Yes, that part is key as well.
We don't know when some crisis in the international arena will interrupt food chains. and we will not be able to bring in the imports from distant parts of the world. We would have the capacity, the production capacity in our region to do for ourselves and to supply ourselves. So there's that aspect of it as well.
Now we're talking about doing for ourselves and where we want to be. Jamaica, one of our members, the CARICOM members, the Prime Minister there, Holness, has informed the British couple on their visit that Jamaica has every intention of becoming a republic. How is CARICOM responding to this? Are we happy with this development?
Well, that was the other big news of the past week, and we always knew that once Barbados set that example of breaking away from having the monarch of Britain as our head of state and establishing a republic, that it would have motivated the remaining so-called monarchies within CARICOM to do likewise. So it was extremely pleasing to see the Jamaican government confirming this to the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, that Jamaica will in fact, in short order, be following Barbados. And I trust that Jamaican example will then become an example for Belize and the Bahamas and St. Vincent and Grenada and St. Lucia and all the remaining CARICOM countries. And there are 8 of them, 8 remaining independent CARICOM countries that are still holding on to the Queen. And we really need to break that and to consolidate our full sovereignty as a region, because we must have elevated aspirations for ourselves. We are not second to the United States or Canada or Britain or to any other. We are a Caribbean civilization. We must be a totally independent and sovereign civilization. 200 years ago, when we were all British colonies, Caribbean, the colonies that now form the United States of America, the colonies that now form Canada, we were all equal. We were all equal. And so we must have the aspiration that just as those British colonies went on to consolidate themselves in a powerful United States of America and a powerful Canada, that we will do likewise in the Caribbean. We will integrate and we will be totally independent and sovereign.
And that's what we're looking forward to, ensuring that we all have our sovereignty. Ambassador Commission, I want to thank you so much for joining me this morning. Great news on hearing all that we're doing with Guyana, especially in the area of our sheep production. I want to wish you a brilliant Monday morning and have an awesome day.
Yes, thank you, Andy. Much appreciated. Same to you.
When Morning Barbados returns, we'll be talking to another ambassador, but this time it's a female who's making a difference, and we'll be telling you all about what she's been up to.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
And this morning, we're going to be connecting with Her Excellency Dr. Sherry Walton. Dr. Walton happens to be a United Nations ambassador, a global entrepreneur, university lecturer, film producer, publisher, author, empowerment speaker, mompreneur, and mogul. Now, she's had a 15-year track record in operating successful businesses. She's the founder of Sherry Walton Consulting and Publishing Group, the Power Mom series, and the creator of Mommy and Me Dream Bigger Tour. It's also a multi-city 2-day experience which teaches moms and kids how to overcome their fears, pursue their dreams, and build their businesses. And that's exactly what she does, helps people in their pursuit. Good morning to you, Dr. Walton.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Yes, it's a pleasure to have you. Now, you are currently in the sweet island of BIM, 166 square miles of it, and you had a vision board party because it was a precursor to an upcoming event you're having at the end of the month. Tell us about it.
Absolutely. Well, we had a vision board party, and when I came to the island, I realized that there weren't a lot of vision board parties being done. So it was something that I saw was a need, that women wanted to come together and just talk about their dreams. What does life look like? What can life be like? So we started putting together these monthly events under my brand, Becoming Her Global, and just bringing women together to talk about a path on not only just dreaming, but how to create the steps in order to get your life to the next level. So that is what we've been doing right now. Every month we've been having them at the Sweet Field Manor, and it's just been an amazing opportunity for us to come together and share. And like you said, we're doing these monthly. In addition to that, you mentioned an event this month. We're actually having a business lunch and learn on this upcoming Thursday at Sweet Field Manor as well. So we're just bringing together women that are ready to take their lives to the next level.
Now, you're also an author. And when one hears the title, Help, I'm Pregnant with Purpose, they're going to be wondering what it is. When I heard the purpose, I was thinking faith, Christianity, a relationship with God. What's the book all about?
The book is about faith, but it's more importantly about finding who you are, discovering the real reason why you are here on this earth. I meet so many women that are just stuck. You know, they are caught up in the title of mom or wife or career woman, but they don't really know how to tap into who they really are. So this book was written to help women that are frustrated, those that are saying, you know what, there has to be more to my life. You know, what does my next level look like? I wrote this book with clear steps on how to discover your purpose. I believe that there are things on the inside of us. There are seed traits that I talk about in the book, things that have been showing up throughout your life that people have probably told you, you know what, you talk too much. You're too loud. You know, this is not a room for women to act like this. But knowing that these are these particular traits of leaders that have been placed on the inside of you. So I have now created a book and a movement telling women it is okay to be who you are. But then there's a part of you that has been buried away, right? Because of society and life, you've kind of tucked away things that didn't quote unquote fit. And now you've reached a place where you no longer know who you are because you've had to change in so many different environments. So this book, Help, I'm Pregnant with Purpose, how to discover your purpose without any delay, how to manifest it right now. So that's what this is about. I do use some keys about faith and my faith in God, but this is something that anyone can read. Anyone can take these clear steps. Anyone can get out of the anti-purpose cycle. And that's that cycle that keeps us going from drawback to drawback, taking care of everything else but who we are.
Now, you have really been taking care of who you are and what you do, because you have come in for several accolades and awards over the time that you have been doing what you do, including the congressional recognition for your contributions to the city of Houston, and also the Under 40 Next Generation's Leaders. And you know, that's quite an accomplishment, because people set all these markers for you in terms of what your success age should be and how you should be, and the fact that you can't be a mom and be a success too, but you are a wife and mother of 3, is it? Yes. And yes, you know, you're doing it successfully.
Yes, I'm a wife of 19 years, and I have three school-age children that are also homeschooled. And I guess it really depends on how you define success, right? Because although I'm thankful for those awards and recognitions, but my true success is how my family sees me. My true success is being able to walk in purpose. My true success are the testimonials of women that I connect with that say that I talk to them about or share with them changed their life. So that honestly is how I define success.
Okay, so the magazine covers and the Essence and ABC News, those aren't part of it for you. Those are just a part of the process along the way.
Absolutely. When you are in your purpose, it finds you. Recognition, acknowledgement. So honestly, I did not seek those things out. They literally came to me because there was something on the inside of me that others could connect with. I have this crazy mission to impact 1 million women around the world. And I always say, I don't know, I may not personally impact 1 million women myself, but there are other women that I will help that will impact other women, that will impact other women. So when we talk about success, honestly, and I don't want us to say like, yeah, sure, she doesn't really feel that way. This is really how I feel. Because at the end of the day, 1 minute you can have the accolades, the next minute you don't. So how do you react when the limelight is not on you, right? So my success truly is how I am with my family and operating in my gifts.
That's awesome to hear. And I think you're well on your way to trying to reach that million mark, because you've been reaching out to Barbados, China, Dubai, Africa, and in the US. So it looks like you're almost halfway there. Now tell me a bit more about the event on the 31st. It's a business networking lunch and learn. So what am I going to be learning? Because I think that's even more important than what we're eating, is what kind of food am I going to be taking in from you for my future success?
Well, I love the lunch and learns. This is our second one, and it's under the Daniel and Esther Network, which I am the CEO of. But it's not just me; it's other entrepreneurs in the Barbados area that will be speaking and sharing and impacting. What we're doing is creating an environment, a safe environment for entrepreneurs to come together and learn how to take their business to the next level. Now, I have been fortunate that I lived in the United States, so I've been able to travel around the world and see how to do global business. So all of the different principles that I've learned on how to make money, right? Because a lot of people have ideas, but they don't know how to turn it into profit. We'll be teaching that at the Business Lunch and Learn. We'll be giving them the keys and the tools to elevate their business, to expand and to grow. We'll be teaching them about marketing. We'll be teaching them about sales. One of the topics that I'll personally be teaching about is how to take your resume, right? Your career, things that you've done in corporate America, and use those skills to leverage in your business. And that's exactly what I've done. I started as an insurance broker in the United States, and I used those sales skills to launch my business. So I'll be teaching entrepreneurs exactly what I did, step by step. And then from there, we give them a monthly support group where they're able to connect with the Daniel and Esther Network to get the support they need for their businesses.
Now you're here on the island to do the program, but you're also, I hope, enjoying what Barbados has to offer. What have you and the family taken in so far?
Oh my gosh. So my husband was born here. So I have to say that I'm here. My husband brought us over. We came in October of, I believe, 2020 for a 3-week vacation. And that just tells you how captivating this island is, right? Because we came here, we started working, we started networking and just growing from there. So we've seen everything. The cave, we've been to all of the, I love the beaches. My children love the beaches. Everything, every restaurant, we've been there. We have not taken in any of the festivals yet, so we're hoping that this time around we'll be able to be a part of that, because everything was closed for COVID last year. But literally anything in Barbados, we've done it.
Well, that's awesome to know. Now, one of the things I'm wondering, because you have your Mompreneur series, but you do a lot. You manage your family. Many people have said, yes, we salute her. But how do you get it all packed in?
Well, I love this saying that I heard: how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? I literally take it step by step, day by day. One thing that I've learned as a woman is that we can put so much on our plates. Literally, we have to take care of so many things, but it's up to us to pull back and make a clear schedule life. I bring in help that helps me. Like, I am not that woman that tries to do every single thing. I bring in help in the areas where I'm weak, or the areas where I know that it will take a lot of time for me to do. I'll bring in help. So the balance with this is, one, I have an amazing support system. My husband is super, super amazing. I have to give a shout out to Ambassador Christopher Walton. My children, they have been so flexible in this process. And as an entrepreneur family, we have been on the road, we've been traveling, and our children understand how to adapt to this lifestyle. With everything, I set boundaries. So my clients don't have access to me 24 hours a day. I tell them I am not a surgeon, right? So I make sure that I set clear boundaries in my life, and then I put those goals together and I make a decision. Is this a right now, or can this be done later? And I literally prioritize my day accordingly.
Okay, that's awesome. I hope our viewers were taking those tips in. Ambassador Dr. Sherry Walton, I want to thank you so much for joining us this morning. I wish you the best of success in your event at the end of the month. And here's looking forward to reading more that you publish, and, you know, just getting other women to share with all you have to offer as they embark on a path of entrepreneurship. Thanks for being our guest this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Morning Barbados. When we return, we'll be telling you more about your mindset. It's Mindset Mastery Summit. You'll hear about it after the break.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
And welcome back. We're going to be talking to Michelle Margaret Marquis. She's a change consultant and transformation expert. She's also an author, a leader, a change consultant, and a thinking partner. Good morning to you, Michelle.
Good morning, Wendy. How are you?
I am great this morning. Here's hoping you are too.
I'm fabulous. Thank you so much for asking.
Yes, I'm happy to hear. Now, we're here to talk about this Mindset Mastery organization, which you are a part of. And you'll be having a virtual event that's going to be coming up soon. But before we talk about the event, what is it all about in terms of being able to master the mindset which you have for life, for business, for family?
Well, Wendy, mastering your mindset is really about getting to know yourself, your inner feelings and thoughts, and being able to master how we react to certain situations, how we view the world, how we see progress, and being able to move forward is really something that not a lot of people focus on day to day. So this is something that I teach to be able to change your perspective and change how you think about how you design your life and what you really want, what's really important in life.
Okay, now your teaching in terms of self-help and so on is a lot different. Your approach is a lot bolder. It has a certain level of fierceness to it in terms of how you coach. I mean, just looking at your posters alone says, you know, it's a little different. Looking at Rebel Woman, we're talking about bearing battle wounds and learning to love the scars. You know, those are things that people generally want to hide, because some people don't want people to know of the terrible parts of their journey. They don't want to see the thorns, only the flowers.
Yeah, sure. I personally think it's important for us as a leader, as a trainer, as a coach, to show the journey that we've had and be very, very honest about that. Because in doing that, we can actually show people it's okay that these things happened. Most people would say to you, but I personally say for you, because everything that happens in our life is something that brings us to the stronger, more capable person that has more capacity for love and has more capacity to help others, or to just be a beacon in their families' lives, right? So if we share vulnerably like that, the journey that we've had, how we overcame it, which is, I think, the most important part, and show people that they can come through whatever they're going through too, I think that's very, very important.
Now let's go now to the actual summit, because it's taking place from April 7th until 10th, and it says that it's basically going to take us a step by step into a new tomorrow, from ordinary to extraordinary. You know, there's some people who believe that being ordinary is just okay. Why must I even want to be extraordinary?
Sure. And some people, you know, might not want to be, but for those of us who do want to create more of ourselves, create more of a life that we want to live, it's really people. So when I say it takes you step by step, we have 36 absolutely extraordinary world leaders, not just me. I'm hosting the whole entire thing. I do every single one of the interviews, but the people involved, the likes of Naveen Jan, Stephen Scoggins, Brian Covey, Dr. Valerie Young, just to name a few. These are the type of experts that are actually featured on the Mindset Mastery Summit. And there's 36 absolute amazing conversations. And not just conversation, I don't allow sales pitches. So there's absolutely no sales pitch. It's absolute real, straightforward, implementable information that these experts have given, and they brought their own experiences and all of the training and the experts that they've learned from. They bring those processes that they teach their paying clients. They've really brought the information. It's absolutely amazing. For me, having each one of these conversations changed my life. So I'm so excited to see what it does for the people who actually attend the summit.
How do you get to be a part of this summit?
I'm actually the owner of Mindset Mastery Summit. So do you mean the people who register?
Yes, who want to register. How do I get on board?
Sorry, got totally carried away there. You go to mindsetmasterysummit.com and you can register. It's completely free. Being transparent, you can upgrade to have all the recordings for life, and all of the transcripts and all of the amazing bonuses. The speakers have given free online courses, coaching sessions, all kinds of thousands of dollars worth of free bonuses. But that's an option that's entirely up to you. Every single interviews you can watch for free live.
Now this is interesting and this is amazing, because usually in order to hear a number of these people, we have to pay via our credit card to be a part of their instruction. We have to buy the book, but you've decided to give it all to us free. Why is that a part of your mindset, to be able to share knowledge with those who need it most?
Yeah, especially now more than ever, Wendy. It was very important to me putting this whole summit together. It was last year in October we started working on this. It was so important for me to make it as accessible as it possibly could be to everybody. This year, I am on an absolute mission to reach at least 1 million people, because now is the time more than ever that we need some help with our mindset. We need hope back. We need a sense of being able to look forward to the future again, especially after the last couple of years that we've had.
Yeah, it's been a tough time those last 2 years. Now, there's something interesting that you have here in terms of your topics listed. And you speak about sharpening intuition and overcoming something called imposter syndrome. I want to focus on those two things.
Okay, sharpening your intuition is really important, because we have to know when we can trust ourselves, let alone anybody else out there. So if we get more used to listening to our gut, as we normally call it, listening to what is right for us and what maybe not be so right for us, what doesn't serve us, we can really start to be more at peace, to be perfectly honest, more at peace and more joyful. You know that you're listening to your inner voice, and you know that it's guiding you in the right direction.
Okay, and what about the other part, an imposter syndrome? What's that about?
Imposter syndrome is something when we talk about when we don't feel good enough. Say, for instance, as an interviewer, if you didn't feel good enough to interview really excellent people, accomplished people, if you feel that that's not something that's in your capacity, right? That's imposter syndrome. Most of the time, we suffer imposter syndrome when we're actually perfectly capable of doing those things. So again, it's just that little switch in mindset. But I personally say to my clients, I don't ever want them to lose imposter syndrome. I teach it in a very different way. It's kind of counterintuitive. Imposter syndrome for me helps me know that I'm in the right rooms, that I'm surrounded by the type of people that I want to be surrounded by, people that are more accomplished than me, people that, you know, doing bigger things than me. So I don't teach as in fix your imposter syndrome and change the person you are. I teach it in a way that you use those feelings as a compass to keep moving you forward to bigger and better things.
Okay, and that's quite interesting, that something that might be viewed as negative can actually be used as a leveraging platform to get you where you need to be. Now, outside of that, you also speak about being able to shift one's identity in order to shift one's life.
Yeah, if we shift our identity, what that really means is who you want to be in the world. We all have a choice of what we want to learn, how we show up in the world, what we want to bring to the world, even if that's as simple as the person that you want to be in your own community, right? That means anything that it needs to mean for that individual person. Who do you want to be? What do you want to bring to the planet? What do you want to bring to your family? What do you want to bring to your community, to your country, whatever that might be, your church, whatever that is for you that's important to you? Decide who that is. Decide the kind of person you need to be to bring the best that you can bring to the people that need to have that from you.
Okay.
And by doing that, you shift your own life and you shift everyone around you.
Awesome. Now, is there a close down for registration quickly before we go?
The close down for registration is the 10th of April, but I would get registered as soon as possible so that you can see as many of those interviews as you possibly can.
Okay.
Because conversations are really life-changing. They really are. And I want people to have, even if you take one golden nugget, even if you know, one small thing, it will change people's lives.
Well, let's hope that it does and it changes them all for the better. I want to thank you so much, Michelle Margaret Marquis, for joining us this morning. And here's hoping that your summit is a success and you can reach that million mark that you're seeking to achieve. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much.
It's now time for our social media buzz, and we are going to be looking at a snippet of the Barbados National Day at Export Dubai. It was an awesome concert. Morning Barbados, it was a pleasure bringing it to you. Have a marvelous Monday.
On the count of 4, 2, put the flags in the air. 1, 2, give me the flag, give me the broken trident. Let me go. Bob. Let me hear you. Enjoy your life. Come, let me have a time. Barbados, Barbados. Ooh. Oh my gosh. Anybody ready to go home yet? Now this is how we're gonna do it. We wanna rock in here. So if you know this dance, teach somebody this dance. We're going this way first. On the count of 4. 1,